on the weekly stream. We just cut out, and it was real suspicious where it cut out. So maybe I'll talk about that next week. But I think we got. I don't know if it was technical or not. But here we are, opening more board games. So thanks for joining me, and welcome to another unboxing. So this time it is a very heavy Solomon Kane. So this is a game just like many of the Kickstarter projects, a game by Mythic, and it was delayed about 3 years. It was supposed to be, we're supposed to have it at the end of 2019, and of course, things get pushed back and pushed back. So it came in late spring to Asia, at least. I think some North America or maybe Europe got it a little bit before that. But yeah, so this is very similar. Similar property to the Mythic games Conan. So Conan the Barbarian. So same writer, Robert E. Howard. You can see his little stamp of approval from beyond the grave. This is a character from Robert E. Howard's Pulp, and this time it's not a barbarian. It's set like 16th, 17th century, and it is a Puritan, a battling Puritan. And this game has a kind of a novel concept that we'll talk about once we get it opened a little bit more. So a game by Jake Thornton, and this is done by Mythic, so they always do bilingual English and French. So that also explains why this box is so heavy. So that'll be a little bit of my complaint about this. We'll talk about that a little bit more. I think it saves them on production to do one bilingual copy. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So let's, I think we should probably, instead of looking at the glare, we should probably get this plastic off and see what it looks like inside. And we'll be able to see the cover better as well. So we'll just start with this side. And beautiful, beautiful artwork. They, of course, produced an art book as well. And they stated that this was a Kickstarter exclusive. So this game was Kickstarter exclusive, but I'm not even sure what the definition of that is anymore. It seems like things find their way to retail. I think especially Miniature Market seems to get their hands on a lot of things that were Kickstarter exclusives, so they make some deals. Yeah, so look at that. Yeah, very nice heavy-duty box, just like their Conan game. Nice heavy-duty box with great artwork. So there's a better shot of our hero. So Solomon Kane, so part of like Cull and Conan and a lot of other characters Robert E. Howard created. Red Sonja. No, Red Sonja's from comics. But here we go. Let's take a look at the back here. Get an idea of what is inside. So as we said, Jake Thornton is the designer. So in Solomon Kane, players take on the roles of the four cardinal virtues. So courage, justice, prudence, and temperance. These immortal beings strive to lead mortals down the path of goodness. Each is stalwart and implacable. Each is a stalwart and implacable foe of evil that lurks in the darkness. So the players, as virtues, must act together to aid the mortal hero Solomon Kane in his fight against the darkness. This is the fearless opponent who tries to thwart our hero at every turn, and who must be overcome by the players if Solomon Kane is to emerge victorious. But why would the virtues care about Solomon Kane? Surely there must be many mortals they could aid. The answer is simply none share his boundless faith and determination, to fight the darkness, whatever the odds or costs. So there's our novelty. There's our gimmick is you're not playing Solomon Kane, unlike the Conan game where you play Conan and his companions. You do not play as the character, and I think it's an interesting take because it's a virtuous Puritan character. So he's fighting evil wherever he finds it, and it literally takes him all over the world, from Europe to North America to Africa, and so you're controlling the virtues that basically control him, and so you're fighting this kind of abstract darkness. And so 1 to 5 players, 18 and up, because I think some of the content is pretty bloody, and 2 to 3 hours per act. So it's a very narrative game, and it's broken up into acts. So the stories or the scenarios are broken up into acts. As you can see, kind of tile based, and here are our miniatures. So the miniatures of the virtues are rather large, and then the characters are on the board. So lots of cards and tokens and dashboards, as is standard with a lot of these games. So the components, and the reason this box is so heavy is so 29 double-sided tiles. Oh, that's a big part of it right there. So tiles of that size, there are 29 inside. 20 progress tokens, purity tokens, a compass token, stat trackers, so tokens, cards, a lot of cards, sin cards, virtue cards, darkness cards, discovery cards, nightmare cards, and then the cubes, or the dice. So you're rolling similar to some other games where you have a die pool that you spend or you use to power up things. I think this looks very similar in that way. So mercy and luck, a save box, and then a pack of save sheets. Oh, good. So you can save the status of the game. A quick start guide, rule book, 8 storybooks. So there are 8 different stories included with several different chapters. Yeah, I think on the Kickstarter they were saying it's like 40 hours of gaming. So I didn't go beyond the core box because I thought 40 hours to figure out if I liked it or not was plenty. Wound tokens, 1 cloud. So lots more tokens: exploration, corruption, threshold, 18 dice, light tokens, blessing tokens, 79 minis, and that's not including Kickstarter. So in just the core box, 79 minis, 5-player aids, and 23 card dividers. So let's see. Mythic usually does a good job of keeping everything in the box, like letting you keep all the components well organized. So they marked it as a 2020 game. Probably because of the delay. It was a manufacturing delay, and there's our reason why there were manufacturing delays. All right, seriously, this is a heavy game. I'm not making that up. This is not my acting. So let's get the lid off. Yeah, really nice cover art. They did a nice subtle job, and we'll see more of that. Oh, and they also included art prints as well. That was one of the extras. So here's our quick start guide right on top that just talks about what we need to do. So select an adventure, gather what you need, select the mode. Yeah, so there are also several modes of play. But overall, I think you described it's cooperative. So you're playing the virtues and you're cooperatively trying to get Solomon Kane through these different scenarios. Set up and begin. All right, well, there's a nice quick start sheet, and here's their big color rule book. Yeah, nice A4 size rule book. Nice. So here's the rules, how to use this book, read the cards, the card types, dice, light, virtue, dashboards, stat boards, cloud, luck cubes, mercy cubes, tests, rounds, turns, player order, darkness turns. All right, so here's the introduction. There's our list of everything, or kind of our image of everything inside. So yeah, we'll have dashboards, and we'll see if they're actually double. Oh, they already say it, double layered. That's nice. So that means recessed. So anything where you sit a die is going to have a nice little recess in it. Recessed area, and there's our cloud. So wound tokens. So I think plastic tokens. I'm not sure. I think this was it was probably an upgrade, and I don't know if they ever did. If they did metal, they got to the point where they're doing metal or anything. But these look decent, and there's all the cards and all of our dice and cubes to track. Wow, and there's all the miniatures. So that's that's every character for every scenario inside, and that's what it was, 7 different stories. So, and they're kind of grouped by the stories they correspond to. And we have an ogre and lots of wolves. And here's our virtues. And they also, so with Kickstarter, so it started off at the four virtues, and then they added, Providence was added as a stretch goal, and so that allows it to be a 5-player game as well. And now there's also a darkness, so I guess you can play as the darkness, which is very common. Like somebody can control the enemies to give you variety, or if you just don't like the people you're playing with. But it looks like the very standard quality. I'm sure these are renders. more 3D renders, but the quality of their the Conan miniatures were great. So here's the core rules overview, rule priority. So here's the game modes. So cooperation 1 to 4, confrontation 2 to 5, solo 1, and duel 2. So confrontation, so we kind of know what co-op is going to mean. Confrontation is broadly the same as cooperation, with one additional player taking the part of darkness. Okay, there we go. So there's our extra, that's what our extra large miniature is for. This gives the game a maximum count of 5 players, and having a darkness player makes the game more challenging for the virtue players, as a real person can always be more devious than AI. There we go. And dual mode is just 2 players, one playing Providence, one playing Darkness. There we go. Right, so to win, Solomon Kane is a narrative game that uses actions of the players to describe adventures of our heroic Puritan. The players' choices, planning, and their luck gradually reveals the unfolding tale. The players continue revealing and resolving chapters until they reach one that tells them that they have been triumphant, or they have been vanquished. You are dead. Nice. And you can modify the challenge ratings. Oh, even act by act. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, so rather than imposing arbitrary levels, you can play what difficulty suits you best. That's nice. An adjustable difficulty is always good, especially if you have people that look like they're getting bored. Especially in a cooperative game, I think that's a good thing, because yeah, cooperative games tend to get one person leading everyone around by the nose. So here's all of our instructions for setup, how the board should look, how to use the storybooks. So I'm not a fan. This is with the narrative books, and I think because they sit flat, the kind of spiral bound books, and you can flip them completely over without breaking the binding. I'm not a fan of those because they tend to damage everything that they come into contact with, and they won't sit on a shelf. So we'll see, and hopefully they've actually protected that or covered that against damaging anything else in the box. So if you don't know anything about Solomon Kane, as you're kind of getting from the mechanics of this game, so someone whose motivation, whose drive is to just vanquish evil, to challenge evil, and it's not a very maybe appropriate or politically correct character for these times, because basically he travels to various places confronting primitive cultures or people, they're basically non-Christians, and roots out evil in all of their ways. But there is an understanding that he has a longtime kind of teacher and companion who he gets his staff from, that shows you that he can understand and sympathize with cultures and powers that are not they're not Christian based. But so it's a challenging, interesting character, and I really like the kind of globe trotting aspect of it. It moves around very much, and it still resonates. It still has a primal. I mean, that's a lot of the motivation for settling most of the British colonies, the Americas and Australia, is this kind of Christian righteousness. So it still does resonate. And I don't think I'm just glad. I'm glad this game exists, and I'm glad this character is being promoted. So setting up your chapters. So yeah, so I'm sure in the scenarios they're showing you where everything starts, and so it looks very strategic. So similar to Conan, you're using, I don't know if you can see that so well, but you're using areas on the tile. So it's not like inch grids or anything. It's kind of areas, random kind of areas. So your strategy is not grid based. Ending a chapter. So here's all the reading of the cards. Yeah, so a well done rule book, and usually they have minimal typos, and the translation is always very good. In the Mythic Games products, I haven't had any bad experiences like not being able to understand a rule because it was worded strange. So they have good English, and I'm assuming French as well, because I think that's the native language of the studio. Discovery cards, sin cards, Yeah, so here's our the results on the dice are faith, bravery, determination, pain, and fear. And so you have flipped and unflipped. So we'll see what the dice look like later on as well. And so you may notice any of the depictions of Solomon Kane, very similar to kind of the default character in Bloodborne. So I think there was a very similar look, the slouch hat and the brace of pistols and the rapier. So that's the very similar style character to what I remember the if you've ever played Bloodborne. You don't know Solomon Kane, but you've played that. You've kind of seen that type of character. So light and dark. The virtue dashboards. There's our luck, mercy, and blessings. And we get purity points, of course we do. Yeah, so I'm interested in how these mechanics work, and if it's very satisfying, if you're constantly, how the economy of these points and everything works to fight against the darkness. I think there have been prototypes, and so people have been playing this game for a while. There's a lot of how to plays online, so we won't go too deep into that. We'll just actually take a look at how this game came out. And there's our round markers. Oh, nice. So yeah, so they go through kind of step by step how you're using the dashboard and where everything is going. Nice. So there's darkness. That's a great miniature. So if you're playing with an opposing force, one of the players is darkness, and here's the shadow characters. Just these shrouds. Additional game modes. And there's Providence. So if you're only playing a single virtue, I think it's Providence versus darkness. Wow. Yeah, look at that. Nice art. Discarding darkness cards. So here's a little rules for darkness. So yeah, they said, so if you're playing cooperatively, darkness is an AI powered, unless a person actually takes this over. And here's our reference of what all the terms refer to. So being adjacent or active card, or what donate means, or the flipped dice. Yeah, that's an interesting mechanic. We'll have to see how that works. Wow, yeah, here's all of our terms. And it may be that a lot of the abilities and things are explained on cards. So we'll see that. And here's our index. That's always useful for looking up rules. Nice. These things be deeds of some power of evil. The lords of darkness have laid a curse upon the country. A strong man is needed to combat Satan and his might. Therefore I go, who have defied him many a time. Nice, from Skull and the Stars. Yeah, you have to, and I think it's all public domain now. You can get, I think, just about every one of the Howard short stories, the stories that were written for Weird Tales and things. You can get those all for free online. So if you haven't read Solomon Kane, I would definitely recommend it. So if you get nothing from this unboxing but that recommendation, please check out the Solomon Kane stories. They're just like all of Howard's writing. He's able to capture things that you just didn't think you could actually write about, or describing the way he describes combat, or just the evil, like the feel of combating those abstract kind of evil things. So here, well, they're not protected, but oh my god. I don't think they're... This looks like one of those multi-packs of ruled notebooks you get for school, except it's all Solomon Kane. So here are all of our storybooks. Wow. Yeah, they did a good job. There's nothing that these spirals are going to interfere with. And if you do this, if you kind of alternate, one goes one way, one goes the other way, and this guy says, hey, "What do you want from me?" Yeah, it looks like there's a pretty good storage solution here. So we'll see how true that is. Wow, this is a lot of printed material. Yeah, I can't believe. I've just kind of gotten really burnt out on all in for Kickstarter, especially when you don't know the game. I mean, you've seen examples from the campaign, how it's played and everything. But to get that series of, half a dozen boxes that have, expanded rules and like a few extra miniatures all in like a big vacuum form tray, that just becomes insane as far as like storage solutions. Let's just take a look at the first book we have here on the top, the Rattle of Bones. So we won't go through anything too detailed to spoil, but here, this is the Act 1 of 1, so this may be a good starter because it's a single act. Great God, he muttered. A cold sweat formed on his body. This thing is beyond all reason, yet with mine own eyes I see it. A lot of the unexplainable. All right. Yeah, and so these are following the narratives of the stories as well. So you'll have some kind of clue of the theme of each of these. I wonder if it's going to spoil anything. But yeah, so they show you where to lay things out for each part. And some nice artwork. And how many cards you're using. Yeah, so very clear. They do a good job. Yeah, I guess, it's nice and it's reasonable. And then you can also do this, so you don't have to look at 2 pages. If you're going to be spoiling things by what's on the next page, that's really nice. I'm just, because the thing I don't like about ring binding is it damages things and it gets crushed. If you remember your school days, once these things get flattened, the pages don't turn anymore. So you have to be very careful with them. Or once that wire is bent, then it starts tearing the pages and all kinds of nonsense. Yeah, so nice, clear, well laid out. That's great. And so you're turning to 10B, 10A, so you know if you are vanquished or succeed. He stands in utter darkness, his blood freezing, while the hideous muffled screaming emanates from the secret room, intermingled with the dry, gristly rattle of fleshless bones. Nice. Yeah, that's great. They use quotes from the stories. So we've got the Rattle of Bones, Witchfinder General, Skulls in the Stars. Wow, this is a thick one. Yeah, I think that first one was definitely an intro. It was the thinnest. Le Ogre. The Haunted Mountain. Death's Black Riders. Nice. The Beast of Bordeaux. And, a big final one. The Blue Flame of Vengeance. Wow. Yeah, there's little... wow, that's a hefty book. There's little quotes from the stories on the back of all of these. So this is, quite a bit. There are 7 stories. So I forget if there's, almost 3 apiece chapters. So you're dealing with... plenty of chapters of stories. Like they said, I think almost 40 hours, depending on how you're playing. 40 hours of stories. And they did, I think, half a dozen expansions as well. So some of the more famous stories, I think they broke out into their own expansion boxes. But this has some classic adventures already. So, that's different. Yeah, the dice on the box looked like they were bone, and these are just kind of black and blue. But that seemed to be the color scheme that they went with the Virtues. Is they're very luminous blue. So here's our special dice with the symbols on them. Nice. And the flipped version, so on the opposite side. Oh, so you do flip the dice. You do flip the dice, and it gives you that opposite effect on there. So if you're using these to power something, that makes sense. Yeah, that's too bad. I was hoping... I like that kind of bone color look of the prototype dice. But these are very readable. And, they do kind of match the color scheme, so they're making you paint. They're making you paint your miniatures a certain way. So everything is blue washed and luminescent. Nice. Yeah, so rounded corner, but very readable, very in it. So it's big enough from the far side of a table to be able to see what people have. And here are our cubes, our mercy and luck cubes. So the same size as the dice, but just no rounded corners and just no markings. Nice. And a little pocket for, oh, that looks like token heaven, doesn't it? There it is. 9 compartments of tokens. Let's take a look at our tiles real quick. And we haven't seen a single miniature yet. So somewhere in here there are 79 miniatures hiding. Nice. Oh yeah, and they very kind of discreetly label everything so it's not too huge, not too intrusive, and easy to read. So there's our 1B, 1A. And nice, as you can see. Let's get those a little closer. As you can see, very vivid art. And like I was saying, the zones are kind of broken up irregularly. So you're not moving like a number of squares, you're moving through zones. So that makes a big difference as far as how movement works. It's not at the same kind of economy, and the strategy is a little different depending scenario to scenario. There's bigger and smaller zones. Nice. Trying to keep the glare off of everything, and you can see a lot of different locations. So interiors, and then very dark nights. On the outskirts of town, there's a seaside. Yeah, really nice. The coloration and the artwork is done well. It's not like obviously computer or obviously quickly hand painted. It's well done. Yeah, just like with Conan. The Conan game had a really nice art direction, and I'm sure it's a lot of the same people that were on this with their love of Robert E. Howard. I'm really glad Mythic Games picked up those characters and is going with it. A big motivation to buy that original Conan game was to have the miniatures for the Conan role-playing game, but we actually never got to playing Conan. But the Conan board game itself is great. It just has a huge number of miniatures. I even went a little more all in with Conan. A dining hall, suits of armor. Yeah, everything is very clear and recognizable. It's the deck of a ship. Yeah. Or no, we're just in an underground, maybe an underground room. And the largest carpet you've ever seen. Nice. So was that 29? Yeah. Oh, it was maybe double-sided they're referring to. And here, looks like our compass token. So even though it's plastic, it's got a nice texture and color to it. And some of our other markers. So here's our turn markers. Yeah, they're okay. They could probably use a clear coat and a wash to make them kind of match the the look of the tiles a little bit. But yeah, very light, very brightly colored tokens. So this looks like all of our maybe our virtues. Yeah, those are okay. They could use a little distressing to kind of match the tone. And here are all of the cards. Oh, and they give us a little keeper box, probably to save the state of the game for our whatever state our virtues are in. Yeah, so it's kind of almost like a tarot-sized. So wherever we are in the chapter, we can save that. So let's take a quick look at some of the cards. So an ominous feeling. So these are discovery cards. Oh, wow. So specifically, yeah, that's why there's dividers, because they're specific to the chapters, because it's a narrative game. So these are the Rattle of Bones discovery cards. An ominous feeling, distrust, ransacked room, nothing, signs of struggle, the very thing. Gaston Lamarn, revelation. There we go. Yeah, so clear symbols indicating everything. And we'll have to see. So here's all the English. So maybe they did do language versions. I guess maybe they would have to, because with a narrative game, that is a lot of cards to have 2 of everything. Yeah, Conan, a lot of the... you got both languages. So maybe they couldn't possibly do that because it would have made the box prohibitively heavy to ship. Let's see. So we've got, yeah, it's English on both sides. So here's just the player aid to describe turn orders and options during turns. So we've got 5 of those coming up. And then these are discovery cards for the Blue Flame of Vengeance. Yeah, so very clearly marked. That's great. That so I'll have to find out where the dividers. Oh, there is something already in there. Oh, a little a little vacuum tray holding everything up. Oh, there we go. So now we're deep enough to actually set things up. And here, so that's must be our 5th player. Here are our other player aid cards. We'll use those to kind of separate the stories for now. And they did say, oh, here they are. There's dividers. Wow. So we'll sort through this later, but this is great. So they give you a taller divider card so that everything can lay. Oh, this is really nice. Everything can lay in here. So between light and darkness, the Witchfinder General, all of our stories have their own dividers. And the separate acts, there we go. Death's Black Riders has 3 acts, and there's 3 divisions there. The Blue Flame of Vengeance has 2. So all of the cards can be easily found. That's really well done and very thoughtful, especially for story cards or narrative games that that require so much of the story to be on cards or so much of the events. You have to be able to access them easily moving. So here's the Act 2 of Death's Black Riders. Yeah, so the design and everything's the same. So just a lot of text, and not really any flavor text or anything, but it's also marked very clearly. There's numbers and identifiers on both sides of the cards. So that helps keeping everything sorted. Nice. Here's the ogre story. Nice. So everything in your discovery deck. All these little plastic wraps everywhere. The Beast of Bordeaux. So always this first one gives us a die result. And then all the other effects. Oh, the vial rack. Wow, lots of different mechanics and things to face. Very interesting. I can see why this was so heavy. With 7 books, what was it, 19 tiles? And but I still don't know where the miniatures are. But this, oh wait, they can't be under here because this goes all the way down. So the miniatures must be in the arsenal box. Oh, that's nice. So they were able to divide things. So we haven't seen any of the miniatures yet because I think once they reach that stretch goal, they could very conveniently make it 2 boxes. So the Witchfinder General and all of these discovery cards. And this little spacer. Wow, yeah, that's right. There are no miniatures in this box. Kind of interesting. And the Haunted Mountain, and more of the same. I guess we don't need to open everything. You kind of get the idea. Oh, and the quality of the card, the coating is really nice. Not super thick cards, but very well coated. So they feel really durable, and nothing is going to be, the edge is not going to be coming off of there particularly quickly. Yeah, always the quality of their stuff is very, good. So here are our discovery cards for all of the preceding stories and chapters. And here's our smaller cards that go deeper into these, all these little vacuum form. So we'll take a look at these because these may be more colorful and have a lot more clues to the mechanics of the game. So here are our darkness cards. Yes, an entire deck of the darkness. There we go. So instructions, so kind of 3 sets of instructions depending on what phase or result we're doing. Yeah, so a lot of reading. I guess that's very good that it was language specific. So my complaint was completely invalid. It was just something that I remembered from Conan, so I wasn't sure if they were still doing that. But Conan is a more just combat based. It's not narrative as much as this obviously is. So those are our darkness cards. Here's our event cards. So a nice horrible event happening right on the backs of everything. Soul-stricken, dwindling resolve, creeping shroud. So they're giving you results and effects of all of these events. And our last thing, our last deck, is more darkness. And these are divided, less. The effects are, the sections are above each other instead of on the sides. Oh, and they do have dots representing, so maybe it's a different level of darkness. So that's nice if they change the layout so you're not accidentally mixing cards. That's very useful. And I like that this plastic is easy to get off. It makes the unboxing so much more pleasant. So here's our virtue cards divided by the different virtues. So we have providence, temperance, justice, courage. Oh, and our omen cards and sin cards as well. So let's first go through. So here's the powers of the virtues. So intervention, inspiration, influence, enlightenment, contemplation, introspection, supervision. So these are all, results of cards. Oh, and it looks like they are kind of color-coded so you can tell the different virtues apart very well, and maybe even a different ability. The blue ones seem a bit more powerful. Nice. And our sins. Oh, wow. So, omen is just an omen. It's just a raven. But our sin cards, so there are 7, of course there are, 7 sins, and they are marked at envy, gluttony, greed, pride, sloth, wrath, and lust, and the effects, which we won't spoil. Wow, this makes sense now why this box was so insanely heavy, because there were no miniatures inside, so nothing even slightly to add some light or some space to it. So these are our fight effect cards, and they have a result number, so you probably need to keep these in order so you can search them more easily. So all fight effects starting with E1. So shadows beckon, horror overwhelming, a quick step, dimmed perception. Nice, so these will be fight effect results that you'll reach for. And finally, we can put our little deck box. And this is just your very standard. It's a long tarot size, but if you've had the kind of deck boxes for any collectible card game, it's very similar to that. It's plastic, if you can't tell. All right. And and these are just the dividers for the poker-sized cards. There we go. Darkness, sins, omen, virtue, actions. So to also sort through those and find those as well. So as you can see, they give you some height to separate all of the different card sections. That's really nice. I mean, that's going to make it very easy to run the game and reference everything that way. Much nicer. So the pistols, the deathly riders, devout Solomon, tainted abbot. So these look, yeah, very narrative. Or these, I guess these are characters, right? Conniving thugs, gallant Kane. So the stats for characters and what they do. Possibly, it looks like a bit of AI about what the enemies perform. Nice. So all of those effects, and so yeah, that's everything, because this goes all the way to the bottom. So that's everything in the core box, which is no miniatures. Interesting that they did that. So you're up to 2 boxes for just the core set. That is an interesting choice, but good, I think, and that's probably why it was a stretch goal too, because they weren't sure they should do that or not. So I'm just going to alternate these back into the box so I don't ruin them before I actually use any of them. So I guess, yeah, with this kind of storage solution, this shouldn't be too bad at all for keeping the components of the game. So this is really heavy. I mean, if you have cheap pressboard shelves, you are not going to want to put this on top. It's going to bend everything. It weighs a ton because it's so much wood pulp. But that is all of the components. So let's move on to the arsenal box and take a look at the actual miniatures for the game. Wow, so I think they'll both fit up here. So here, oh, appropriately marked, the arsenal box. Yeah, so this feels like miniatures. It's a bit smaller. It's not as deep. Oh, it's almost the same. Almost the same depth, but not even close to as heavy. So, just so we can see everything better, let's just get the plastic off. Sorry, I'm doing that right by the microphone. Sorry about that. And so this was a stretch goal, but I think we reached it pretty easily, or this campaign reached it pretty easily. And so here's where all of our miniatures are going to be. That's 79, did it say? Oh, man. In Solomon Kane, players take on the roles of the 4 Cardinal Virtues. We have read this already. So it's the same text as the back of the box, but different art. There are the Virtues and Solomon Kane. And I think we've got enough space here. And there, one more time, is the front of the box with his pistols and rapier. Ah, that's really good. Good art. And let's check the lid. Wow, that's a big dashboard. That's right, there were no tokens. There were spaces for tokens, but there were no tokens in here. Yes, so 2 double layered dashboards, so that means everything is recessed. I don't know how well you can see that, but there you go. You've got really thick card and you get 2 layers of it. So if you bump the table, everything is not coming off the track. It's going to stay there. And here are all of our different tokens that we'll need. And they gave you, like we saw, they gave you the compartments to store all of these there, so you'll just be reaching into those pockets for the tokens and for the cards. Yeah, it seems like they handled the storage solution really well. And here's our cloud and all of our virtues. So double-sided. These aren't quite as thick as the dashboard, but nice, and really nice coating. Yeah, the nice linen coating. You can see that fiber on the outside, and the cloud just punches right out. Oh, there we go. We got 2 sides of the cloud as well. Yeah, but really durable. Well made. Okay, so here's some spacers that we won't need. Oh, nice. Yes, these double layered dashboards are beautiful. And then our worksheet for saving the game state. Nice. Wow, so this is just the core box, and then everything that was added to the core box during the campaign. So there is prudence, courage, providence. Maybe providence is the bright blue. Justice. There's our darkness. Dashboard. Wonderful. And temperance. And they have the game logo on the back. So as you can see, where you're storing everything is double layered and really thick. I mean, these are like a piece of plywood. Very nice. A nice linen finish. Very well done and very cleanly cut and everything. They stack so well. That's great. Those are beautiful. They're huge too. I'm used to dashboards that are like postcard size. And then here are the bookmark. Oh, nice. So yeah, the worksheet for the state of your game. So marking everything that's been done at what stage of what chapter. There's the rest of the tiles, right? So I think it was like 29. Something so. Does that mean? Okay, we may have already run into a storage solution. I hope these fit in here. I mean, I guess they do. And you can just put the tiles of, whatever chapter you need into the core box to keep everything accessible. But yeah, if we have to store tiles and miniatures in here, look at that. Nice zebra rug. Yeah, so more exotic locations. Interior, exterior. It's like a bridge. And a cave with bones. Nice. Yeah, it is 29. Wow, 29 tiles. So this is the second half. So I guess the second half, I can't imagine if you put this much more cardboard in there, how much heavier it would be. So it probably was also a shipping decision. That core box was getting probably to the maximum capacity of what the sides of the boxes were going to be able to tolerate as far as weight. Yeah, so the rest of the adventures in the core box. So yeah, everything you're going to need for the seven stories to tell. Nice. All right. So there's the second half of our tiles. Okay, so there looks like there are five boxes. So, interesting. So these are going to be the vacuum, the vacuum packs. Oh, well, right away. So starting with number 5, I right away pulled the largest of the miniatures. Oh, wow. These are not going to be easy to get back in here. As always. Oops, sorry about that. I get myself into these situations. So here is a bear, a very green bear, but nice texture. And here's our alpha wolf. There's some smaller wolves, but I love that they did really nice detailed scenic bases on everything. And here are a few of our. So Providence, I think this is Providence and Darkness. Wow. It's a really rigid, nice plastic, and always the larger miniatures. Board game miniatures are so beautiful. And you can tell they were assembled. There's a few lines of assembly, but the swords are perfectly straight. Look at that. Yeah, really well. A little bit closer. Look at those swords. Yeah, so the plastic that they used is nice, very strong. No, so there's no flex in there. Here's Darkness. So, wow. Yeah, really great detail. So here's more human scale. Here's and of course skulls, because it's Darkness. And our ogre, who looked huge in the illustration because he's like holding maybe just a wolf pup. Nice. He's got his own story. And then there is, I think these are the, oh no, here's our first couple of kind kind of darknesses, minions. So just these animated shrouds. Very ghostly. So there's several of those in here. All right. So I'm going to put things a little bit back after we look at them, so I don't spend the rest of the night reboxing, unboxing, and then reboxing. So here's the rest of our virtues and some big bad. Let's take a look at the baddie first. Wow. So another kind of ethereal spirit. Look at that. And beautiful color choice for the plastic. So if you're not going to be able to paint these, they look really nice. I'm surprised though, because of that blue color scheme, they didn't go with a blue, like a pearlescent blue. That would have been one-stop shopping there. Nice. So here are the rest of our virtues. Nice. The sword, look at the swirl on the base. Oh, really nice. Oh, it's our blind justice. Everyone's got a sword, but the swords are perfectly straight. That's a really good decision. All the broken columns. And look, she's floating. Nice. Wow. The snake with the serpent body coiling around. Yeah, the fabric is so well sculpted. And look at the detail. I mean, these are huge miniatures. These are like, 54 millimeter miniatures for the virtues, but amazing detail and really nice. Yeah, they're really rigid too. And decent assembly. There was nothing that was falling apart. Wow. Haha, already. Okay, we'll put that here. All right, and let's, since we're counting down, let's go with 3. Yeah, this. So what I did with the Conan box, it was they're all 28 millimeter. There's some larger, but mostly 28 mil. Is I actually put some metal sheet in the box itself, and then just magnetized, put adhesive, kind of magnet tape, sheet magnet on the bottom of all the miniatures, just kind of like positioned them in so you could put them both on the lid and both in the bottom of the box. And that seemed to work okay, but some of these larger miniatures, there's no way the magnets are going to have to be excessive. Oh, here's our riders. These are amazing. Wow. Look at that. Really great. So nice sculpted bases, and the pistols and everything. Really well done. Wow. So our 4 riders, and they're all different too. So this was 2 pistols, and here is a lantern and a sword. Yeah, so they're all different poses as well. Oh, are they? Wait a minute. No, we have the 2 pistols is our variation. There we go. Yeah, we have 3 of the lantern and sword. So they're not all different poses, but there is a variation. So maybe there is some difference or designation that we need him to be separate. This is not an ideal. It was a good shipping solution, but it's not going to be a storage. See, I'm going to have to go back and refer to this video to see how all of their capes were oriented. Yeah, see, already I'm going to have to figure out how to make this work without, because, yeah, they just don't, they don't want to go back if you shifted them at all. Okay, so here's our more human scale. That was all of our larger monsters and things. Oh, it's all this green plastic. Interesting. Yeah, so it's a nice color. It beats that gray. Maybe the oh, no, there aren't like main characters, so yeah, it beats that gray that you usually see. Very interesting. So yeah, that would give you, I mean, and literally a nice trick is if you're not going to want to really paint anything, you have a little bit of experience. If you clear coat these so they have a little bit of texture or a little bit of grab to them, clear coat them, wash them, and then dry brush them with a lighter color, you can pull out all of that detail, and they look like, you know, like they're carved in stone or something, to give you a bit more of kind of character on the tabletop. So there's our hero right there. So there's Solomon Kane, I believe. Is it? Yes, yes, yes. Let's see. Yes, with a nice hair. Let me pull that off. So did that hair come all the way from Europe? So there's our hero and an innkeeper and a scholar, and yeah, so all the characters for the different stories. And here's our spirits, more NPCs, and some guards. Oh, nay, death, a skeleton like a dead token. There's the wolves. There's the wolf pack that the alpha belongs to. Excellent. Yeah, so everything is in this kind of greenish plastic. So that does make it a bit more kind of usable right out of the box, I'm guessing. I don't know. It may just be the type of plastic they used. That's the color that they were going to be given at the factory. All right. Oh, no, that hair wouldn't have been from Europe. That hair would have been from China, because that's where these are packaged. All right. Authentic Chinese hair in every box. Maybe that was the lucky box. So here's more of our characters. Nice. So is that another, that may be another Solomon Kane? I think there's a musket. No, that might be one of the expansions. I think it's the America expansion. He has a musket instead of his pistols. And a child, because endangered children are great. Injured characters. And here's more of our darkness. Spirits. And then this guy not knowing what's going on. Yeah, so a couple of duplicates. So not a lot of... if it's the same character, it's the same sculpt. Or it's the same type of character, the guards and things. But really nice detail. So let's take a close-up look at... oh, here, with his staff. Oh, excellent. So here is our hero. We've already seen in the tray, but there's his staff and sword. Wow. And I think this might be an alternative. There may be two Solomon Kane sculpts, because there's kind of a before and after when he has the staff. So there's just the standard rapier, and they didn't go too thin on the sword, which is good, because this plastic would snap. I can kind of feel that if you pushed it hard enough, you could get it to break, because it doesn't have much flex at all. It's much more brittle. But yeah, these are nice detail and well done. So just another quick look. Yeah, there's a little, you can see some, some kind of mold. Oh no, that's actually stitches. Wow, once I put that up in the camera, I can actually see it better. Those are stitches in these old shrouds. Wow, I thought that was actually clean up mold lines, but that looks like a part that was broken off of a sprue, but all the rest of that is actually intentional detail. Interesting. Yeah, so 6 of those, and there's all of our characters. So it wouldn't be too difficult to come up with a storage solution that got these out of the so they don't fit this way. So I may end up doing something similar to my Conan, maybe coming up with 2 layers in this box, because this box has a lot of depth to it. Because it's a lot of miniatures, but they may actually come close to fitting base size in here. So we'll see, but unfortunately this also needs to accommodate the sheet, the dashboards, and those additional tiles right here. Okay, so it's not perfect. But what is anymore? But these are, yeah, really beautiful. I wouldn't want to do anything that would endanger the, just like that would endanger the, these larger pieces getting broken. Or so I want to definitely find something. So maybe just dividers, maybe just foam core dividers would be enough. And I'm sure someone like Broken Token or someone has already made a storage solution that gives you trays where things sit nicely. Wow. That was a quick, I guess we didn't take every individual character out, but that was a quick 79 miniatures. I was just awed by the look of these of the virtues. That's really nice. Yeah, they did a really nice job. These will be fun to see. Yeah, this plastic color already, you know, it's not unusable, and I guess just because it defeats that gray, like you assume gray is the raw unpainted plastic, so the green helps a little bit if you're never going to get to paint everything. Wow. So that is going to do it. We actually got through it in a pretty quick order. So this was the core box, the base game, and it includes the arsenal box. The arsenal box is what all of your miniatures are in. So I think that's also why this is Kickstarter only, because I don't think they were loose enough with what they were going to do to not go to retail. They put more miniatures in, gave you a lot more options. And yeah, let me just check real quick. I'll give you a close-up of these miniatures while I check. Oh, there is a barcode. There is a barcode on the back. So it could go to some kind of retail, whether or not it will. But this has been Solomon Kane, the Pulp Puritan of Robert E. Howard's creation. So very interesting idea for a game. And they also give you options where it's not only cooperative. I think that was the different game modes is a big plus, because that's something that makes games tiring very quickly. And if cooperative works best with 4 players or 5 players, how often is that going to happen? So you have the option for solo. There are solo rules, 2 players, player versus player, and then 1 to 5 players in the kind of regular cooperation mode. So a lot of options and a lot of beautiful miniatures. So I may get around to some actual plays. There's a lot of solo board games that I think would be fun to put on stream. So some lonely nights when I'm not painting, I'll do that, and then it'll be fun too because we can read the stories. It'll spoil. That's the only thing with story games is it does spoil it. So if you own it and planned on playing it, watching those playthroughs, defeats that purpose. But if it is kind of the introductory adventure, it's, how much is it going to spoil anyhow? So I may just start simple. So this was the Puritan Pledge for Solomon Kane. So just the base box, the arsenal box, and that's still a lot. It's still a lot of stuff. So I'm really glad I didn't go expansion crazy with this. The other things they offer, I think there's about half a dozen, like I said, expansions, a neoprene mat, some card sleeves, which they obviously give you enough room in that tray to sleeve all of those cards. So themed card sleeves for everything that goes in here. And trying to think if there's anything else. I don't think there were any like premium upgrades as far as like, marble dice or metal tokens. I think that's pretty much where we're at. So the quality is pretty good. Some of those tokens are the color's a little bright, things are a little, they're okay. They could use some coating and painting and stuff. But yeah, this is a great looking game, and we'll have to see how it plays. So very interesting options, and hopefully we can get the at the minimum the solo rules. Soon we're all going to be back together again. So board game nights are back on the menu. I hope. All right. After the Olympics, that is. So this has been Upturned Table. So please visit upturntable.com for more videos of unboxing. So we do a lot of another unboxing series has a lot in it. So take a look at the playlist for that, and as well as our actual plays, reviews of games, and our lore series. So there's a new Mutant Chronicles video coming out. It's a new kind of sub-series, the deep lore, that talks about not the main timeline, but kind of the small details and kind of crazy things that happened within kind of within the gaps of our chronology. Hopefully nothing that spoils, but just kind of makes you excited about how rich and deep that setting is. Upturned Table on Twitter, and you can see the archive of all of these streams as well as all of our videos on both YouTube and Twitch. So thank you very much for joining us. And maybe if I get some of these miniatures painted, check out Upturned Table on Instagram for those results. Some of these, the Virtues look really great. Thanks so much. Yeah, there's Joe put the link to the channel in the chat. So click on that link if this is the first time you've stumbled across this, and we'll do some more of this soon. So thank you for joining me, and give us a like if you enjoyed this. That helps a lot for discovery, for this to be found. And subscribe to the channel to see more of this and get the notifications, as well as the Twitch channel. And we'll see you next time. Thank you so much. Goodbye.